So welcome to another unboxing. Today we're taking a look at the pledge for not only, so it's a few things. So this is the main pledge on Kickstarter was for the Putrescence Regnant, the vinyl pressing of a like a sound and visual crawl. I think it's a bog crawl is what they call it because you're going through a swamp. Bog crawl for MÖRK BORG. And we also have some additional things that have showed up. So Treasures of the Troll King by Chris Bizet as well we'll take a look at. And also something I forgot to include in the title, we also have Occult Ferretry. That book is also in here as well. So let's take a look at how everything looks, and we'll give everything a flip through because more than probably any RPG that I've taken a look at, these books need a flip through because visually they're just amazing. And it's not a case of style over substance. I think they the rule set and the creativity that went into a lot of these adventures is excellent. So we'll take a look at all of that. So let's see how things are packaged. So I took off some of the top layers of bubble wrap. So not a lot in the box, but because of the LP, the box had to be much bigger. So get that out of the way, and then we'll make some plastic ripping bubble wrap sounds. Oh, nice. Yeah, so everything is shrink wrapped as well. So this was fulfilled by Exalted Funeral. So there's a core book with some protective cardboard, and there is the pledge. Wow, there's the LP. Yeah, that was when I saw that project. That was irresistible. This is just the basic. They did a limited edition pressing with a different, like a colored vinyl. This is just the standard edition, and then also we'll include in here. So, and this is the Treasure of the Troll King, the Chris Bizet adventure, as well as the God of Many Faces pamphlet that was done for this Kickstarter. So a lot to get through. I guess we should start. Put everything kind of in order. We'll start. Oh, this is a nice. This is a nice protective. Oh, it's in a sleeve. Oh, that's great. Wow, nice job fulfilling everything. So this is what I waited for, probably a little bit too long. I should have picked this up a lot earlier than with this Kickstarter. So let's open this up and take a look at starting with the core book so you guys have an idea. I'm sure you already know, but we'll try to make it complete and go through everything for this game. And so there's a lot more than this out there because they opened a compatible with kind of publishing program, kind of like an open source license for developing for this setting and or settings for this game. And so there's a lot showing up on Kickstarter, and it's very well wrapped. There we go. Nice. Oh yeah, so a nice matte finish on the cover. All right, and before I discard that, so of course this game won a lot of ENnie awards. So best writing, layout and design, best game, it won silver, and product of the year that it was released, which was, oh, this is a 2020 printing of the book. I think it was out before that, though. It's been out for a while. That's why there's so much supporting materials. It's been out for a few years. So text and game design by Pelle Nilsson, graphic design and art by Johan, Nohr, and Dead People. So the Occult, Örtmästare games, and Stockholm Kartell. And yeah, right away, so you can even see the UV, the varnish, spot varnish. I'll get that right angle there on the shield and the sword and the figure, the skeleton on the front, and the distinctive yellow. I like that they. So you can recognize projects for this game very easily by the yellow and black, primarily yellow design. So here's several tables for treasures and things. So the inside, the end papers already have tables on them. Nice, and the black metal font for the game. So that's the whole aesthetic, is kind of a death metal or black metal take on fantasy roleplay, kind of an OSR fantasy roleplay. Yeah, this is a third printing. That's why it's dated 2020. Wow. Yeah, so it's been out for a while. So third printing. And nice, it's printed in Latvia, not China. And publishing, so Free League is the publisher for the original game. And then the other studios are involved in collaboration with some of the other projects we'll look at. The wind from the west, from the sundered land, rot rides it, and the stench of blood. Cursed walker, will you travel there? To the valley of the unfortunate undead. Our young ones are taken by the child thief Targ-Dungel, known for his vile crimes and alchemy of flesh. Nice. So you can see, yeah, from the design, this really great graphically. It's really great. Yeah. So, and that's the I guess the direct translation of MÖRK BORG is Dark Fort in English. And there's some hot pink. What was written must be known. Nice. Two-headed basilisk. So here's just a lot of the setting. So we're having, these are all Roman numerals. So these are, so this is already kind of giving us the setting and different characters. So the monk and the basilisk. When the world was but water, dust, and clouds, thick with plague-fat flies, came she, first of the basilisks. Wow, yeah, some really great. So not only interesting design, but also the layout. Yeah, I wonder if they did when they originally kickstarted this, if they did a deluxe, edition that was like art paper. This is really thick, a nice thick kind of semi-gloss varnish or finish on the paper. So it's nice. You can see from a little bit of the glare it's giving. So here's a map, and basically, all of the giving us the different lands and characters of the setting. Yeah, so there's everything. And that's what many of the adventures do, is they offer a map and then kind of what is happening in each of those areas. Palace of the Shadow King. Grift. Nice. Oh, and then the ribbon mark as well. Kyrgyz. The Western Kingdom. So the book already sets out a lot of setting and a lot of characters. Oh, wow. There's some metallic ink on the inside. That's great. Nice. So when will all this agony end? D100, years of pain, a bleak half year, D20, a fall of anguish, D10, a cruel month, D6, the end is nigh, D2. And of course the Psalms for the calendar. Wow, there's some great, great graphic design in here. In this world there are those who seek riches or redemption. Some say the apocalypse is escapable, that it might even be stopped. And D6, D12 tables. 4. Yeah, it looks like possessions for items. And here we go. So here's creating your player character, starting in this corner. So randomize your starting equipment on this page. Randomize weapon and armor. Roll your abilities, roll your hit points. And then name your character if you wish. It will not save you. And the optional rules. Start by choosing or randomizing a class. Page 46, and follow the class instructions on rolling equipment. So you can also, just do that based on class instead of all randomly. So it might be some more appropriate equipment to your class. And roll on tables on pages 39 through 43, and then roll a number of omens. Femur, D4. Oh, so here's the description of your weapons. Yeah, depending on your result. So maybe the damage. Yeah, so D4 damage with a femur, a crossbow. D8, a flail D8, Zweihander, and D10, so two-handed sword. Armor is D4, and D2 if you begin with a scroll. So they'll take away your armor if you can actually cast something. Wow, look at that ink. That's maybe not so much on the video, but it's pretty eye-bending. I have this lit pretty well, so that hot pink is hot. So here's your armor table, your equipment table, and then abilities. So agility, presence, strength, and toughness are the 4 ability stats. And then so this gives you what the bonus would be. So yeah, looks like kind of standard, D&D bonuses. So 9 to 12 is average, and then anything above there gives you bonuses. Your carrying ability, hit points. So hit point 0, you are broken. Negative hit points, you are dead. So it's your toughness plus a D8. In the worst case, 1 hit point, but never less. You don't start with 0. Initiative is a D6 roll. Wow, and 1 to 3, the enemy goes first. 4 to 6, the PCs go first. So it's not even a contested roll. And then melee is your strength, ranged is your presence, and defense is your agility. Broken table, D4 table, natural crits, double damage, and the armor is reduced by 1 tier. A fumble, natural 1. So it's a D20 system, so familiar, yeah, kind of classic D20 role play. And then natural 1 fumble, if you're attacking, your weapon breaks or is lost. If you're defending, you take double damage. How long is a round? A round is long enough to make an attack or traverse a normal-sized room. They're usually 10 rounds in a minute. Rest gives you D4. A full night's sleep is D6 HP. And every 2 days of starving, you'll lose D4 per day. When meeting a creature whose reaction is uncertain, you roll a 2d6. Kill, angered, indifferent, almost friendly, or helpful. Then morale. Oh, there's morale rolls as well. If the leader is killed, half the group is eliminated, or a single enemy has only 1/3 of their hit points left, they may flee. So yeah, that's nice to have morale checks for monsters, so you're just not beating mobs, to death, to the last person. They actually will think about fleeing. Getting better. So how to improve. So the Game Master decides when a character should be improved. It can be after completing a scenario, killing mighty foes, or bringing home treasure. So they get more HP, or left in the debris you'll find something, so loot or ability changes. Powers. So-called powers are known, and they are usually found in scrolls. So right now we're playing Warlock, so that's it's D20 as well, so maybe there are some similarities. That's more based on old first edition Warhammer Fantasy or Fighting Fantasy systems from, like late 80s British roleplay. But this may have some similarities because I think there was a lot of also fans of those games in Scandinavia as well, Sweden. So Unclean Souls, a D10. Wow, there's a lot of great, results. So Sacred Scrolls, Unclean Scrolls, Bestial Speech, the Basilisk's Demand, a D20 table. Oh, look at that art, nice, excellent. Basilisk. So Omens. Clearly the eyes of the other powers are upon you, Eldritch Watchers, or the tangled fates of alternate worlds. Call it luck if you like. Every class gains a number of omens. If you play without classes, then every player begins with D2 omens. When depleted, roll the class's designated die, a D2 if playing without a class, and regain that many omens after resting at least 6 hours. Use omens to deal maximum damage, reroll dice, lower damage dealt to you, neutralize a crit or a fumble, or lower 1 test by 4. So similar to their fate points in the Warlock system. That comes from, not from Warlock, but that's from Warhammer Fantasy. To help the fragility and the deadliness of the game, you can prevent some horrible death. And you only get those kind of during character, they're generated during character creation. Optional tables, terrible traits, all the different injuries your body can take. Wow. This is really great. Troubling tales. The whole group can share the same backstory, or groups within the group can share a tale. So you've got D20 terrible, troubling tales for your backstories. D20 for arcane. So go for casters, yeah. So when casting goes wrong, a caster who rolls the same result twice explodes in screaming black fire, in which the faces of the dead are seen. D6 damage each round. Water only feeds this fire. So magic is dangerous. That's a very Warhammer Fantasy trait. Fanged Deserter. Oh, so these are the optional classes. So they say you can play classless or have these classes, and then you'll have equipment rolls and abilities. Fanged Deserter. Gutterborn Scum. Nice. Esoteric Hermit. Wretched Royalty. Oh yeah, so it gives you that, begins with 4d6 times 10. Is that money and omens? And then toughness is d6. Toughness plus d6. Heretical Priest. Occult Örtmästare. And then creatures. Seth Goblin Bent Scum. Zakuma Berserker. Rat Wraith. I think Rat has a W. That almost looks like the lead singer of Rat. All right. Bells Lich. Troll. Nod Zombie. Lady Porcelain. Thinks Grotesque. Gargoyle. Aland the Wicked Knife Wielder. Ulotha the Wyvern. And then followers of various, so there's the Earthbound, the Wicked, the Wild Wickhead, Pale One, and the Prowler. So the GM makes morale checks from time to time and adds the group's highest presence to the roll, and the GM should also consider whether or not the group provides the outcast with things he or she or it values. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. More metallic ink. Oh, and the paper changed. Yeah, so now it's an uncoated paper. The Rot Black Sludge, the Shadow King's Lair, Lost Air, an introductory crawl. So I will just kind of quickly flip through this so you can see the design, but I don't want to spoil anything too much, so I won't read any tables or anything. But yeah, there we go. So usually adventures, very simply have maps and locations, so what's going on, and then a lot of random tables to generate random encounters or what's happening in each area, and then as the kind of narrative of the adventure goes through. Nice. Yeah, so here's the definition. There's the map and the definition of all the things that are happening in each of the rooms. Nice. Bedeviled Dungeons. So one of many bedeviled dungeons. Roll the D12 twice to name it. Oh yeah, so a lot of random generation. Imminent danger, the status, distinctive features, sample rooms. Even more reasons to risk one's life. Where do you wander? Adventure Sparks. Wow, a D100 table of random adventure sparks. And then here's, kind of summary of the things we already looked at, the rules. So kind of the, almost your mini GM screen right here. And then the index of everything. Wow. Beautiful book. And nice. It's a nice kind of a B5 size, so very manageable as far as bringing it around. So we got a doom metal album of a game, a spiked flail to the face, rules light, heavy everywhere else. One day, all will blacken, just as the two-headed basilisks have predicted. The world is dying, time is short. How will you face these last days, robbing graves for soil-stained wealth, or facing down the apocalypse, hoping it can be fought? Nice. So there's our core book. So yeah, rules light, as you saw, character generation and combat and everything are resolved very, very simply, very easily, not complicated location rolls or anything too over the top in the mechanics. So that is the base, the core book for MÖRK BORG. Beautiful. Yeah, really well designed, and it's still not graphically, confusing enough that it's not usable, that it's just a pretty thing. Like, everything works really well, and it's actually very fun. And maybe that's because, people were getting tired of looking at basically MS Word docs and things for game systems, because a lot of, even now, people are producing pretty ugly, maybe fun to play game systems, but they're presenting them in a pretty dry, straightforward way. So this is definitely a reaction to that. Increase the style of what you're looking at for your games. All right, so here, I'll slide this sleeve off so we don't have the glare as much. So here is what the Kickstarter was for, the Putrescence Regnant, a MÖRK BORG bog crawl. It's fulfilled by Exalted Funeral, and in association with everybody in Games Omnivores. So here, basically, like we saw that last adventure. Wow. Like we saw that last adventure, you have a map with locations and what some rolls to make when you're in those areas and what is happening. A miasma table, capsizing. Targ-Dungel, a festering wound upon a dying world. Time and space warp within a malodorous miasma. It takes a mere day to walk the periphery of the bog, but more than a week to cross it. And then inside this side, kind of liner notes size, is the whole crawl itself. Oh wow, this is beautiful. Okay, let's take a look at this whole thing. So really nicely produced. Look at that. The story so far, and then sitting on all the tables, and then there we go, the Royal Swamps, the same tables that were on the inside there on that gatefold. The Scions of Schleswig, and the floating basilica. Sorry. I'm just saying monster names. Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm calling it a basilisk. Basilica. Nice. The Mudmaster. Wow, the Isle of the Cult Faith. Cultists. Isle of Flesh. Oh yeah, it is like literally an Isle of Flesh. Wow. And then the High King's Augur. High King's Tables. 120 chance that the Augur is in any given location the PCs visit. Wow. So a bog quest. This is really nicely produced. Let's take a look at the back. There we go. And it is, of course, we'll take this out too. As you can see, there's a side A and a side B, because this is pressed on vinyl. So here's the sleeve. It's a nice cardboard sleeve, not paper. The Gilded Wolf. So begin with 2d6 times 10s and d3 omens. There's a map of the Rotlands. The swamps in the middle. And let's take a look at this vinyl. Oh, wow. This is some putrescent looking vinyl. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. If you want to take a look, if you just search Putrescence Regnant on Spotify, you can hear what is on this disc. I didn't want to risk playing it in the background, especially if it's on Spotify. It's probably on Content ID. But that is a putrescent looking piece of vinyl. Oh, that's great. And just the sound of a vinyl record in an RPG session is going to be crazy nostalgic. So that was the one of the big reasons why I wanted to back this. What a great idea for a project. So we'll stick this back in. Yeah, but really well produced. So yeah, here's the entirety of what was in the album. So the gatefold cover, the sleeve with the LP, and then the liner notes with the actual adventure. So it looks like a double album, but actually the one side is your booklet. And nice, I mean, this scale too. I mean, they had to put it in a ridiculously big box to get it here safely, but it's really nice to see the artwork at this scale. That's really great. Wow. So I can't wait. I can't wait to run this and listen. Yeah, hearing a needle dragging across vinyl. That's great. Yeah, so I'll put a link to the Spotify if you want to hear what they did. So the whole, it's a soundtrack to complement the bog crawl. All right. So let's continue. So this was something else that was offered as an add-on. So almost everything that had been produced so far was offered as add-ons. So this was another little B5 book. So I figured since I was doing... it's got some spot metallic, but it's almost... it's got a little bit of a dazzle to it, a little... the iridescent coloring. So this is Cult. So death by devilry and strange and forbidden knowledge, lost souls cursed, treasure and the road to damnation. Phylactery. Nice. So what is this? So yeah, they define the game itself. And this is, I think, one of the earlier books produced. So road to damnation, travel across a dying world. Oh, nice. And here's more tables. Yeah, lots of great random generation for everything. So you're not... There's surprises, and the GM has to react. And then here's our map of these dying lands. And more tables. Yeah, so it's nice. So it's an uncoated paper, but really nice thick textured paper. So it takes the ink really well. So the heavier the ink, yeah, the nice. Wow, that's great. And of course, there's metallic ink. Eat, pray, kill. Pray with an E. The bestiary and hunting rules. Oh, nice. So yeah, so tables for all the animals and how to hunt. Hunting mishaps in the belly of the beast. How much meat is there? Nice. So, in the certain lands, so in the Tvel land, anti-deer, flayed vultures, feral horses, and Sarkash, the Skelek, dredgehog, carrion owls, mulch squirrels, howler beasts, and the graven tusk, giant skull moth, twice grown corpse flies, unbred mutts, grim-toothed squirrels, meat roaches, and half-billed ravens. In the grift, uncommon rats, cellar crabs, straw lion, lentil lice, and murder gulls. Oh wow, there's a lot of animals. So each area has its own animal population. Kurgus, tar pelt goats, megasloths. Oh hey, thanks for the follow. Circa the Black, thank you so much. The flail-horned musk ox, blubber gulls, megasloths, the false seal. A false seal as in the animal. Lyrebirds in the wasteland. Lyrebirds. Three-thirds pheasant, the feather fox, the Baltabor, Schleswig bog feeder, goldcrest, filth crow. Wow, in the lake. Cursed trout, rusty bass, the Carquoisan, carcass one. Oh, carcass swan. It's one word. Carcass swan, the groan, unsettling duck, unresting duck, unsettling. The unresting duck, and the sturgeon. Wow, lots of it. So it's a heavy, yeah. So this whole first section of the book is all animals and the Valley of the Unfortunate Dead, phantom rats, tomb ape, gravelings, marrow sparrows, grub stoppers, bone mares, the Bergen crypts, tunnel sneak, nephalunx monkeys, weak-willed whisper birds. Oh, sorry, I'll keep an eye on the chat as well. Nice. Vergewing, falchions, uber wolf, ragpies. And the description of each of those animals. Nice. So this is the Death Ziggurat. Oh, there we go. So you've got a hex map of the areas. So find the Ziggurat and stop the demon from laying waste to our world before the true time. Nice. And now we've got kind of a bluish color in the paper. So the sections of the book are really easy to distinguish. And some spot yellow. The depression. Woof. That is quite a ziggurat. Monsters and NPCs. Oh, here we go. And some little D100 items and trinkets. Nice. And then the Goblin Grinder. Another scenario inside. Wow. With a lot of pink. So the characters of note. The shop. The derelict mill. The Goblin Grinder. There it is. Nice. So each level of that tower, it looks like. And then the Tenendus Reliquary. Wow, these are great. Wow. Yeah, all the weapons and other items. Chains of Death. 3 dead skulls. The Cursed Skinwalker. Oh, a shapeshifting, so a new class, a shapeshifting class. Play is a Cursed Skinwalker. A pale one. A Dead God's Prophet. A Forlorn Philosopher. And another gatefold. Oh, with some nice metallic ink. So the tablets. So made from clay in the Valley of the Unfortunate Undead, these ochre tablets are relics of a forgotten mind cult, so rare that they can be sold for 100 silver. Each tablet counts as a normal-sized item. If the PC fumbles an attack or defense, one tablet breaks. Otherwise, they follow the same usage rules as scrolls. Nice. The dejection of your roots. And then the black salt on the back. Dinehall offered black gold on his beast, a wyvern. Terrorized them for months, scooping up children from the streets and tearing open roofs. We tracked it and killed it. Hard work and spilled blood for blood-claimed gold. Nice. Yeah, the writing is great. There's some really good... and here's what was inside as well. So a slightly adapted translated version of a solo... Oh, nice. A solo micro-adventure. Grab a handful of dice and a pencil. So, David Hoskins did a... So, yeah, I think 2018. I think that was the original release of the game. Oh, nice. It looks like it's written with ballpoint pen. Yeah. So here is... I think this is... They're recreating the old style, like, typewriter pages of maybe original Dungeons and Dragons, kind of white box, everything. But I think this is why... And in the kind of modern iteration of this, just the very cold, Word doc, that is what this design is a reaction to. And a lot of the, zine published RPGs, they're reacting to not having to look at this anymore. But this is a great recreation of those. I'll have to do this adventure. I should do this on stream. That's great. Yeah, very old school. And I like using all caps on these gothic fonts. They're almost impossible to read, like, a lot of people's tattoos. Nice. Oh, and here's character sheets. Yeah, you are Kargunt. And then here's all of your... Yeah. Nice. So a character sheet for the mini solo adventures. Oh, these are great. Wow, you get a lot of them too. You can play many times. Oh, that's a great little detail of solo. A little solo adventure. Very cool. Yeah, so that was inside. Yeah, so it looks like 3 adventures in here, and plus the solo adventure. Yeah, I wanted to pick this up because I hadn't seen it available anywhere else. I'd seen it sold out in a few places, and so I got it as part of this, and that's a lot of extra content plus a solo for the base game. So let's now move on to the treasury of the Troll King. Treasures of the Troll King. So the Chris Bizet zine adventure. This was also kickstarted. They fulfilled this pretty quick because it could just come in an envelope. So pretty quickly, and there's a little foil, gold foil on the cover for the crown, the Troll King's crown. Yeah, this is nice. A nice heavy card cover and just a stapled book. But yeah, nice quality. And yeah, Chris Bizet is Loot the Room, so loottheroom.io, and I think also on itch.io. And so Johan Nohr, the artist for the original game, worked on this as well, so that was another good reason to pick this up. Nice. So the sewers. So everything, I think everything was done. So the writing and the layout and everything was all, yeah, text design, cartography, and layout all by Chris Bizet. Nice. So Chris Bizet, I think, is most famous for The Wretched. I think that's, if you know that name, that's probably what you know him for. But he's done a lot of other games, but I think, yeah, The Wretched is probably the most famous. So nice. Yeah, really nice layout. D6 sewer treasures, crawling the sewers. As you do. Spaces are breaks from the monotony, architectural anachronisms, bits of city fallen from above. Wow. So, yeah, cool tables. The banquet, the well bottom, stolen wishes. Nice. Graffiti gallery, the hanging garden, the Church of Forgotten Things, and then the Troll King's Chapel. Nice. The art is, yeah, really great. Wandering encounters in the chapel. And there's a map. The chapel itself. So the chapel, the nave, the altar, the choir room, and the bell tower. Nice. Private chapel, flooded passage, library, robing room, secret passage, priest's room. That's nice. I like this. I think that was established in the introductory adventure to have the mini map, so you're still seeing, so you don't have to keep referring back to the main map. You have a mini map that's highlighting like what you're talking about, so you see it in relation to the other rooms. That's a nice kind of ease of use kind of style choice. Ninduk the Ravenous. That's a bit of a spoiler. So there we saw the Troll King. So he never sleeps. He will not rest till you're all fucking dead. I'm probably sure that's what that says. Nice. So Galgenbeck is palimpsest, a tumor, a city built on the ruin of itself. Beneath the sewers, the bones of the old city fester. The Troll King Niduk was exiled, driven into the depths to rot and die. Now twisted by hatred, rage, he oversees the small domain he has carved for himself in a forgotten chapel to a murdered god. Kill him. Nice. So you have your instructions. Nice. So yeah, you work your way through all of this. Where's the big map? Yeah. Through all of these areas to the through the sewer itself to the chapel and murder the Troll King. Excellent. Wow, that's really really well done. Nice. Yeah, there's just so much that's being produced, and I'm not sure. I just went for recognizable names or people that were involved in the original design or production as well. But there's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm sure there's and I've also got coming the Forbidden Psalm, the miniatures game compatible with MÖRK BORG. So we'll see how that goes as well, because we really were thinking about having fun with that kind of shifting between the role playing and the combat of the game with the miniature system as well. And so this was an additional item produced for the Treasures of the Troll King Kickstarter. So another The God of Many Faces, a pamphlet by Chris Bizet. So there's a simple hex map and kind of guiding you through the different areas. Bears, the bear pit, the inland sea, the giving tree, the many-faced mare, the den of pain, the flayed tribute, all things they say, the true believer. So why do you seek the many-faced god, and what have you heard about them? So navigating, is it the same? Yeah, same setting. Gallenbeck. Nice. And Sacred Scrolls. So, Harry the Faithless, chant, martyr, and their horde is law. For the next 1d6 times 10 minutes, nobody who hears you speak can doubt what you say. Nice. That'll be fun in role-playing. Yeah, so really nice, produced so thick, like a cardstock with a nice coat on it. A cardstock pamphlet. So that will last. So yeah, this is everything, and this is not all. There's still more coming, and of course when Forbidden Psalm arrives, and also the expansion. So I ordered, because it was only available digitally. The first Kickstarter sold out, so I ordered the hardcover Forbidden Psalm and then the expansion that they just released for Forbidden Psalm, and more MÖRK BORG is on the way. So there'll be lots of yellow books for us to look at in the library. And so check out, I'll put a link to the Spotify. Check out the soundtrack for the Putrescence Regnant to hear what that sounds like. It's an amazing piece of vinyl. I love that they stuck with the yellow and black, like the disgusting black tendrils through yellow vinyl. And check out, I'll also put a link for the digital copy. I think it's pretty cheap, a digital copy on DriveThruRPG of MÖRK BORG. It's a nice little simple system, very stylish, stylishly done, designed for a book and a system as well. So if you like, real blood and guts, grim, dark, old school fantasy, I think this is a fun setting. And of course, the kind of 5 minutes to midnight, kind of the end of the world, apocalyptic type setting. If you enjoy that, there's a lot of good atmosphere here, and it's not the tone of the setting. It's not trying to be too edgelordy or too over the top. It just is a nice thematically disgusting setting. Like they're not trying to, gross you out or make you squeamish in a way that's like doesn't fit the setting. I don't think anything like overloads the players at all. It all kind of makes sense in that setting. And if you've played any of the forbidden, like the kind of the darker fantasy video games and things, nothing here is going to be outside of that, outside of those orders, like Dark Souls and things like that. It's all within that weird end of the world dark fantasy. Yeah, that's something that people have kind of talked about with running a setting like this, is that there may be too many assumptions, and it may be turned up to 11, to the extent that too much that you don't even know, like, what do you do in this world, or how do you interact with things? And I think I don't think that's quite the case, and I think a lot of people have done a good job of in these adventures, as we saw, like looking through the adventures, of not making it's not too over the top and like kind of adolescent, like childishly, disgusting or dark or violent. I think it works well to that, and I'm sure there are groups that did that, but the thing that early D&D was kind of heading toward. And I think that like Warhammer Fantasy and some of the games that and settings that followed kind of followed through with is a kind of a dark metal or a punk rock aesthetic that a lot of people in their youth, they had those tendencies. So I think it works well. So yeah, I'll put a link, and if you purchase the digital copy through DriveThruRPG with our link, you'll help support our channel and podcast. So I'd appreciate that. That would be great. So that is everything so far, with more to come. So yeah, I've really been anticipating this, and I'm so sorry that I was waiting so long for the core book, because I'd been wanting to see this rule set for a long time. And now that I'm already playing Warlock too, I really see the how well that works, because we're doing the enemy within kind of classic Warhammer Fantasy campaign, but using the Warlock rule set, and it just gets a lot of stuff out of the way to make the adventure and the role play like forward it because the combat's simplified. A lot of the interactions and kind of mechanics are simplified to the extent that you just are focused on the story, and that story is so much fun and so complicated that I think that's a really good combination. So I'm curious to try out not only the so I can pull this out, the solo adventure that's in here, but also to get a group together and do some one-shots or some smaller campaigns and see how people react to it. And because if there's a lot of things like of the setting that you don't like, it's very easy to just pull them out, because as the rules even said, you can play classless. You don't even have to play as a character class if you don't want to play a religious figure, or if there's nothing, if you want to kind of make your own way in that world. So I think that's a great mindset, and this is it's a good thing to see this happening, a really heavily designed and really thematic dark fantasy setting that's not just the retread of Warhammer, because I think we've seen a lot of that, because they made that strange misstep. Warhammer Fantasy had that weird kind of board game version that Fantasy Flight made for them in the 3rd edition, and they're kind of back to normal D100 form in 4th, but the Cubicle 7 version. But this, I think, is very satisfying. And Rules Light also gets people to the table. I think you're not like giving them this tome or looking up rules. I mean, with Rules Light, you don't check rules during the game, and I think that makes a big difference to immersion and people just enjoying the setting. So if you've been opposed to that for any reason, if you like classic, more crunchy systems, but you do have new people that you're trying to bring to the table, you might want to consider a Rules Light system like MÖRK BORG. It I think will make people have a better time for some of their early RPG experiences, and then if they want to get into it deeper, of course that's a lot of fun too, because things happen very unpredictably, and you have to use a lot more strategy and planning, and you're a lot more careful when the rules are much more intricate, and there's a lot more crunch and calculation to things. But I think you'll be surprised if you've never played Rules Light, how much it gets out of the way. You never open. I mean, you will be opening this book for the tables, the GM will, but you're not going to be opening the book for the rules, because the rules are so easy to kind of get a handle on that you don't have to ever refer to the book again. But I mean, that's part of an aesthetic. I can definitely say, like for 5e, I don't mind like when you're not doing anything and you're just kind of following what's happening with the other players. Looking up rules and looking up the details to your spells or whatever is a little bit fun. I think that's kind of part of that game system, but it does take you out of that shared storytelling experience. So so just think about it if you haven't before. But this is wonderful. I'm so glad to finally have all of this. Have all of this here, and it was so sad they had of course, a bit of a delay with the pressing of the vinyl. And unfortunately included the core book with this, so I've been waiting for a while. So I had the Chris Bizet. He fulfilled pretty quick, because I said it, like I said, it came just in an envelope. So his fulfilled pretty quick, but I didn't have the core rules, so I was just hanging in there until everything came. And so we had a bright yellow flip through and unboxing of everything that I've got so far for this setting. And yeah, we'll try to, as things come in from other Kickstarters, I'll keep showing you guys what's going on, and definitely a live stream of the mini solo campaign will be fun. You can see the adventures of Kurgunt, Korgunt, and what happens. Yeah, that's a great character sheet. I love the typewriter layout. Classic roleplay. All right, so thanks so much for joining me. If you'd like to see more of what we do, please visit upturnedtable.com. So that's the website where you can find links to all the videos, podcasts, and everything that we're doing. If you'd like to support the channel with what we're doing, please consider buying a digital copy of MÖRK BORG from Drive-Thru RPG through the affiliate link, or visit our Patreon. So patreon.com/upturnedtable. We have several different levels of support, and that's help us make things like our lore series and fund purchases for new systems, so we can do reviews and actual plays of new game systems. So thanks so much for watching, and of course Upturned Table on all social media, Twitter and everything, and we stream and archive all of the streams from actual plays and reviews and unboxings on both YouTube and Twitch. So thanks so much for watching, and give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and yeah, share it around if anybody wants to, if you want to show off like what's inside of these books, and for anybody that's not familiar with the system. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.